Coming up on All About Android, we discuss Microsoft and how they're bringing, are they ads? I don't know what you call them, but something to the share menu. Details from a leaked Android Q beta, Sony's Rollable concept phone, my review of the Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite tablet, a whole bunch of your feedback, and a whole lot more. All About Android is next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile provides the same premium network coverage you're used to, but at a fraction of the cost because everything is online. To get your new wireless plan for $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Android. And by DoorDash. DoorDash connects you to your favorite restaurants in your city. Get $5 off your first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter promo code Android. Welcome to All About Android, episode 428, recorded on Tuesday, July 9th, 2019. Your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Florence Ion.
What is that, a tier? Is it a guitar
It's a
pick?
tier.
Or is it a Shopkin? Is that a Shopkin?
Are you doing
Cool
prop
side.
Is that a
comedy
blind
now?
bag Shopkin? Are we doing blind bag reveals now?
Oh, look at Tony
Yes,
just
yes,
getting
we're
getting
doing blind
involved
bag
from
reveals.
the get-go.
Gotta make all of these, gotta make revenue any way you can, you know? Blind
All right.
business.
Merchandising.
Hey, that's what Gen Z wants, right? Come on.
Totally. Give them what they want. Also, giving people what they want. Tony Hannides
Hello.
returning to the show.
How
How
are
are you
you?
doing, Tony?
I'm good, man. Thanks for inviting me back.
Yeah.
Great
It's
to be back.
Always great to get you here, and
Yeah.
you always come into the studio, and I appreciate that. I know traffic
course,
isn't always our friend.
No.
But
It is what it is, but yeah, it's been almost a year? And a half?
about that.
Yeah.
About that.
So what's new?
You were due.
Tell me about this.
What's new? Well, Android, is one version on. I'm assuming from the last time you were
Oh yeah,
you were
most
in.
definitely. Yeah,
And,
I've got the Pixel,
that's about it.
The 3XL. I'm happy with that. And but I've been keeping up with what's going on in the world of Android, and it's been kind of a ride.
It's been a ride,
Yeah.
except for this week where I feel like I was scrambling to find enough news for the show.
There's been
That was a
something.
holiday.
Yeah. That's what happens on the holiday. But that gives
Yeah.
us an opportunity to do what we always enjoy when we get this opportunity, to have like a very feedback heavy show. So we've got a couple of blocks of news and stuff, and then we're going to dive into a whole bunch of emails and even a video mail. It's a special day.
All right, let's go.
So it's great to have you here. Thanks for hopping in today.
Of course.
It's good to be back. You guys did awesome holding down the fort last week. I really appreciate it. Every time I take the show off, I know it's in good hands. You guys know what you're doing. You don't need me anymore. It's all good.
If only you knew the chaos that ensues. No, we did great.
Welcome to All About Android.
To be honest, I was expecting with you being out, with Mateo being the guest, I was expecting it to be much more adventurous, but it was pretty calm.
Good.
So we missed you though. Glad you had a good vacation.
Missed you too. Yeah, actually, I had such a good vacation. I feel like I need a vacation for my vacation because it was
That's
like,
the best.
it was
the
like
best kind.
one of those vacations where literally every minute of my time was like scheduled and see them, now go over here. And at the end, I was just exhausted. So I recovered, and now I'm fully recovered, which means it's time to get into the news, Victor. Yeah. He's not recovered. Victor is not recovered.
Victor's
He's still on
still on
vacation.
You really
Disneyland
messed
right now.
with Victor's buttons there.
Victor's on vacation until now.
Now.
I leave for 2 weeks and everything's different. I need a vacation for my vacation too. Here's Android News.
Understood, Victor. Now,
Poor Victor.
yeah, I feel your pain, man, because I was a technical director, TD, on the TriCaster for a very long time. I know what it's like to leave your profile and someone else does your
else's
show.
profile's there.
And then you
Yeah.
come back and you can only do so much checking over buttons and options and
Sure.
everything. The only way you truly know if things are the way you left it is to just do the show.
Do it. Just got to get into it.
So
Well, and
I feel your pain.
in my defense, I spent the 4th of July watching fireworks over the Millennium Falcon.
No way.
Look at this guy bragging.
Wow, he
Oh,
brought
so
a
that's why you weren't at
slideshow.
my daughter's birthday.
Yep.
Oh.
No way. Okay. All right. So this is. Well, I'm not going to say it's breaking news, but this is breaking news to me. What did you think? So you were at Disneyland and you saw the new Star Wars section?
Galaxy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Star Wars
And,
Galaxy's Edge.
Yes, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And
That's
I
awesome.
I don't know, Ron, have you been?
No, I have not.
okay.
But I know people who have. So, and I've heard all about it.
I just want to say when you're walking, like after a long line and then you first walk onto the Millennium Falcon, let's just say there's tears.
Oh,
Do you feel like
I've heard
this is
similarly.
home?
Kind of.
See what I did?
I did try to get my son to say what a piece of junk
Yeah.
when we walked up to it, but and see if anybody responds. But he, being that we saw Toy Story 4 recently, all he said was trash. So I don't know.
all the people working in that section are going to, like, these are the early days, so all those jokes are going to be new.
Yeah, right.
Probably in about a year's time, they're going to be a lot of eye rolls like, oh, yeah, that one again.
Saying it again.
That one again. Oh, yeah.
All right, smile.
All right. Well, I'm very jealous. One day I will get there. Maybe when the lines die down, and that'll be
One
never.
day.
Or
take a vacation
Jason,
for your
the
vacation.
lines have died down because everybody deferred. Everyone was so afraid of the crowds, they deferred their trips. Victor, was the rest of the park empty? That's what I heard.
Yes, and because 4th of July was in the middle of the week,
Yep,
the 3rd of July was actually pretty empty, which was cool.
Well, they're blocking annual pass holders because they anticipated huge crowds, and so the people with annual passes aren't going. So it's fascinating. But Jason, it's okay to wait because the second ride isn't going to open for another year. So wait till the second ride opens.
All right. That's what I'll do. So that's our first story that I had no idea was in the rundown, but I'm happy you showed that.
Wait for the second
Still
ride.
super jealous. Flo, you have the second story of the rundown.
Okay, so it's not enough that Bill Gates feels really bad about losing Windows Mobile to Android, but apparently now Microsoft is sneaking in suggestions into the Android share menu. Isn't that interesting? So
Suggestions.
if you have
Suggestions? What do you mean?
suggestions. Well, I was going to say advertisements. It feels more like a suggestion. So basically, if you have a Microsoft app installed on your Android device, and let's say you want to share an image, Microsoft might suggest that you install OneDrive to upload that photo. Or maybe they ask you to open it with another one of the Microsoft blessed apps. For example, if you tried to open a PowerPoint file, it would offer to open it with the PowerPoint app to install it from the Play Store. Microsoft is also suggesting the Your Phone Companion app, the one we talked about last week. And that seems to be the biggest offender, probably because that's like the primo, get your Android hooked up to something Microsoft-y. Now, Android Q does contain changes to the share menu system that prevent these from appearing, but until then, this just feels wrong. It doesn't feel right at all.
So this is once you install a Microsoft app, they're injecting it into the share menu.
Yes.
When accessing any Microsoft files, like if you just opened a JPEG, would you see this as well?
I'm not 100% sure about that, but I did read that
if it's like PowerPoint files or Word doc files, I'm actually
makes
fine with
sense.
that. I mean, that makes sense. If you already have a Microsoft app on there and they're like, hey, use OneDrive because it'll be optimized or whatever, like that's fine. If it's recommending this for all files across the board, like it's an injection point across the entire OS, then that's shady.
I'm scanning.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the cutoff is for this, and I feel like I agree with what you're saying, Ron. Like if it's a PowerPoint file and you tap to open it and pulls up that very familiar open with,
Right.
if you happen to have a certain Microsoft app already installed, then one of your open with options is PowerPoint in parentheses install. So that would take you to the Play Store to install it, and that
Install
might actually be
PowerPoint.
useful.
Right.
But if it's things outside of Microsoft's direct kind of
Right.
document
Like a text
universe,
file or-
right? Like a generic text file or a generic JPEG or something like that. Then it feels a little abusive. Like, oh, hey, you want to share your JPEG, your picture files. You want to share it with our apps, and that feels like an overstep. What do you think, Tony?
I'm going to have to take a little bit of a step away from that.
Oh,
because
okay.
With my
That
day
is
job,
true.
it's a little bit too across the line. However,
Good to note.
I will say this.
Appreciate that.
With the kind of applications that are being, as Flo noted, suggested, one of the issues I can see being is that if I share a Word document with you, and let's just say, for example, you don't have a Microsoft account, while you download PowerPoint, it would then ask you to create a Microsoft account. And that is a one-step barrier that some users might not want to go through. So it's an interesting way that Microsoft is attempting. I'm not sure if it's going to be that powerful, but there's only one way to know. I agree, though, if they start doing it with just random applications or random file types, that's where it becomes a little bit more intrusive, and that's where it's going to start looking a little bit more like 1990s kind of Microsoft. And as we were saying pre-show, they're trying to be a different kind of Microsoft and trying to be a little bit more open and things of that nature. So, yeah.
I'd like to offer a little clarification. So according to Android Police, Microsoft apps will pop up if you're opening anything like a PowerPoint, an Excel doc, or a DocX. Now, for most of us who are on Android, we're opening these things probably with Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. I personally do that on Android and on Chrome OS. It also says, however, that if you are trying to share images, then it will suggest installing OneDrive if you have the Microsoft Your Phone Companion app installed. So,
it's assuming you're already, if you've got Microsoft Your Phone installed,
right?
You use OneDrive,
That's how
you're a Microsoft user. So I'm actually fine with this. Then I'm fine with this.
However, now there is one implication to just kind of consider, which is, and Android Police brings this up, but it's the fact that, well, Android Q beta may not allow this sort of thing. It's just the idea of other developers catching on to this sort of thing and creating a spammy share menu. It just seems really, I want to say exploitive. I know that's a harsh word, but it just seems like a really pushy way to get people to use your product. But I could see why you would put it there. It's like, hey, don't forget, you could download this. But it reminds me so much of those third-party versions of Android, like some OEMs have, where they insert a little suggestion kind of without you prompting. It just pops up and say,
or
would
ads.
you like to install
It also kind of depends.
Yeah.
It also depends on how far down the share menu this ad is. Like if it's all the way down at the bottom, it's unlikely that you'll even know that it's there. But if
it's alphabetical
right at the
order,
top,
right?
Well, it's alphabetical order in Android Q, which apparently Android Q has kind of cut off the ability to do this.
Right. So if it's Word, then it's all the way at the bottom.
That's true. But if it's a version prior to Q, which is, by the way, still in beta, obviously, if it's a version prior to Q, then the Android share menu is always just like a weird, it's hard to really know what the order is. Yeah. It seems very random. Supposedly it's tied into how much you use something, but that never seemed to really work the way I expected it. Like I always shared a Pocket, and Pocket is never in the first four, in my view. I'm like, just put that there, and 99% of the time it's the right one for me. I don't know.
According to a stray comment in the Android Police comments, which I do tend to look through sometimes, Google does the same practice in its iOS apps.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's important to note.
So
I think this is common, cross app, kind of manufacturer retention kind of tactics.
Hey,
I think
this is thing.
Yeah, this is acquisition. Like I said, this makes sense. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Ron is fine with it.
I mean, the thing is that the headline is Microsoft sneaking ads into Android, and it's
that's how you get page hits. in this day
Well,
and
I
age.
mean, but
It's a good headline.
There is a little bit of truth to this, right? But, you aren't used to seeing it. You're used to seeing the share menu as be directly and specifically share within the apps that you have already installed. So any app that comes in there and then uses it differently than that, like for me, that's notable. I can kind of understand why it might be beneficial to Microsoft users to do that. And if you have a certain Microsoft app installed, maybe you're more likely to be okay with the fact that it's there. But it is using the share menu differently than most app developers that I've seen, and that's notable.
I can see other companies like even Adobe doing something similar to that, like using their Illustrator app or Lightroom app.
Totally.
Like, you might want to use this app.
gladly install Adobe
Or
apps,
I mean, honestly,
though.
the example I made earlier with PDFs, like I would like use Reader.
Right.
So but I mean it's they're going to take whatever. This isn't a revenue generating ad. This is an acquisition / retention tactic. This is a growth tactic, right? And you do everything you can to get people to use your apps. It's fair game. I think if there's a way, good on them for figuring out how to do it.
Yeah, but I have to push back on it a little bit because when I take a look at all the apps on my phone and I think they've all got their intentions and the signal that sends. Can you imagine opening up your share menu and having half or more of them be install this, install that? You've got Adobe in there, you've got Microsoft in there, you've got whatever, all these other things, and then it becomes really hard to find the things that you actually want to share to. That would be really sucky
Thus
too.
negating the whole point of the share menu, which is that it's supposed to curate like the things
Which is fair.
that.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you pin like frequently shared app? Like
and someone in the chat just called me out on that and said, well, I could pin it. And I feel like, even there, sometimes I feel like I've done that. And maybe it's because I switch between so many phones.
That's not
that,
a
like, the pinning
natural
doesn't-
interface thing, though.
I
never knew that you could pin that.
Yeah, well, and I feel like it's one of those things is at times you have been able to, and then it doesn't seem like it works, or it goes away, and then it comes back. I don't know. Yeah. Murky, as they say.
TLDR, fix the share menu, please, Google.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Lord knows we talked about this much longer than anybody thought we would. Only 10 minutes.
Totally.
So moving on though to Android Q Beta, the Android Q Beta 5 leaked. And of course, with those leaks, we get a little idea of what's coming. The blindingly bright white boot up screen will now adhere to the system-wide dark mode. So those of you who are dealing with that blindingly white boot screen, it's now a little darker. It turns to a black background version.
Yeah, at night in particular, and there have been times where I've had to like boot up my phone at night in a dark room or early in the morning or whatever. And yeah, I mean it sounds total first world problem, but
It totally
it's
is.
really bright. It hurts when your eyes are adjusted to a dark room. So
I'm a fan.
It's nice that it does that.
When anything has a dark mode option or just goes dark mode.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like especially when Calendar added dark mode, I was like, yes. My girlfriend was like, well, does it matter? I'm like,
what
it
does it
matters to me. You don't understand.
Well, this totally feels like the kind of thing that like the OS isn't finished, right? This is like they're putting the finishing touches and like, oh yeah, we got to do the boot screen. Like that's the kind of thing that like save that to the last. But it also contains the unfortunately named black sensitivity slider.
Back sensitivity slider.
And a back sensitivity.
Yeah, different feature.
Wow. Back sensitivity slider in the settings, which actually tweaks the gestural swipe action from the screen sides. I was wondering why it was called that. And finally, if you swipe down from anywhere on the home screen, you pull down the notifications. So little tweaks here and there on Android Q Beta. We're getting close. I feel like the release is going to happen in August, right? I mean, isn't that where we're at?
Well, they have that kind of calendar that they released that the actual official release would be Q3. So what is that? August, September, October? No.
Yeah.
No, July, August, September.
Around August, yeah.
July, August, September, yeah.
So yeah, so I mean we're firmly in Q3 at this point. So July, August, September, October, November, December. Yeah. So okay, we are in Q3. So it could come out any time, but yeah, it's probably going to be at the very end. Let's be honest.
Not tomorrow.
And any sort of gesture tweaks, I fully welcome because I'm still not totally sold on the whole swiping from the side thing.
Yeah, as long as they
it's weird to me. It's still weird to me.
I just use a launcher. I don't deal with it.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to.
You don't need to.
Yeah.
But the choice is there if you want it, because that's the upside of being an Android user. You can decide to do whatever heck you want.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Android.
Options.
Sorry, Google.
Beta users.
This is not in any way news, but I felt like our hardware section already had a lot in it. So I thought I would show you. Remember a couple of weeks ago where I brought on my Motorola Xoom and I couldn't power it on because of the power supply?
You found it?
I got the power supply. I had it shipped to me. So now we can see the Motorola Xoom in all of its glory.
Oh, you changed the background though.
So okay, so I booted it up and it had been wiped. So I was hoping that I would boot it up and it would be like whatever it was from years and years ago and everything.
Honeycombs. Yeah.
But so it's actually running Jelly Bean. So it's been upgraded from and it's a little bright. As you can see, it's lightning fast. Hold on.
Wow.
Hold on.
It wasn't even fast back in the day. Like back in the day, it was.
That's right. It's not even up there.
Snails crawl to do anything.
There you go, Jason, trying to show how slow it is, and it's not even the gesture.
It's not even
What's happening now?
Not even up there. What I'm trying to do is lower the brightness of the display, but I can't remember how to do it on this old thing.
It's happening so fast you can't see it.
Yeah.
You have to hit the lower left-hand corner to get to the.
Yeah.
app drawer.
So remember the app drawer on tablets back then was up here.
Oh, the upper right corner, yeah.
Upper right corner.
That zoom in thing. Oh man,
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, look at that YouTube logo.
I know. These are all of the apps have not been updated.
Oh my God.
From then, except for the Play Store. The Play Store did update itself. When I first launched it, it was the big like color blocks on the side with the categories, and it looked horrible. I mean, this doesn't look much better, but anyways, it's
when you try to
interesting.
install something, does it say, "Are you serious"?
Play music. Yeah, right. No, it doesn't give me the option. Play music.
Oh
if you
man,
remember.
look at that. Look at the upper left-hand menu.
If you remember the
wow.
recents category, which it sucks because the way it pulled in all the things that I've uploaded, and so it's like all me. So I promise I'm not that vain. But anyways, if you remember this, there we go.
Wait, that's you?
That's me, Thriller, Michael Jackson, Tinkerbell, and the Secret of I don't even know what half this stuff is. Anansi
I think that's
and the
for your
Talking
daughter.
Melon? Yeah, it must be. These must be audiobooks and stuff.
Audiobooks.
But anyways, do you remember this interface? Wasn't that?
Oh man,
It was
neat,
supposed to be like Android's answer to Spotlight, or like what is going on iOS.
On iOS, yeah.
So
This
anyways,
is
a little
hollow,
carousel.
right? This is the hollow design.
oh, this is
paradigm,
total
right?
hollow era. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Settings pane.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
what-
Familiar settings.
Android 4.1.2. Oh Lord, that was such a long time ago. I was such a different person back then.
Let's see here.
Ooh, Google Talk.
Google Talk. Yeah, we'll go ahead and launch Google
That's
Talk.
crazy.
I'm offline right now. I'm offline here.
Wait,
I'm
what
going to sign
if
in.
I send you a message? Will it work?
I doubt it. Status updates
man.
temporarily unavailable.
Oh, connection
let's see.
interrupted.
This is fun. What else? A camera. Oh, the camera app. I got to remember where to get to my apps here.
What's the browser look
Camera. If you remember, the camera app on the tablet had this big old
Giant
navigation
button,
thing on the
yeah.
side. This is the front-facing camera quality. This is the rear-facing camera quality. For whatever reason, those things hide when you're in a camera. Anyways.
Now remember, this was the era when people discovered that they could cart their tablets around and take pictures with them.
Yeah. Whether they should, that's a different question.
Well, we told them, but people are free to do as they please.
That's true. That's true. Anywho.
Motorola with Google.
You know,
Back then it was with Google.
the old browser, the AOSP browser before that, you started seeing Chrome as a default install.
Ooh, touch on the Google Apps folder. I want to see the icons.
Yeah, the icons are fun. Let's see here. There you go. Got the old play music
calendar.
icon, the YouTube
so far,
icon.
folks.
Now YouTube doesn't launch or it launches, but it doesn't give me anything. So they must have changed something on the back end that won't work until Play
Unless you
Services is
update it.
updated or the app is updated. But and I linked my account and everything. This is all it gives me.
This is the bummer of having old devices around, is just you can't really do much with them after the end date.
Yeah.
It's the same for
It's all
Apple
backend
users too.
supported too.
Well, at least the Google Maps still works.
There's Google Maps.
It knows where you are.
It knows where I am. Yep. At least I can find my way around Petaluma.
Showing you traffic.
It knows where the beer is.
Exactly. It really wants me to know that Lagunitas is right around the corner. Anyways, I thought it was kind of fun. So, if you didn't remember, it has an NVIDIA Tegra 2 T20, 1 gigahertz dual core processor. When you boot this up, it has this like boot up animation that totally calls out the fact that it's dual core. It was really excited about the fact that it was dual core. So that was kind of cute. 1 gig of RAM might explain why things are really slow on it. 1280 by 800 display, 160 pixels per inch. Anyways, this is the Motorola Xoom, a flashback edition. There you go. I wish it had just like the original ice cream sandwich on it. Yeah. Oh, there's a widget.
Yeah. Zoomed its way out of our hearts.
That's right. And zoomed off the table. So we can continue on with the show. Thanks for walking down memory lane with me.
Oh, I love going into the vault.
Yes. It is fun. I was looking at some of the other things in there, and most of them I don't think they even boot up. I think they've just glitched.
Here's the thing. I don't think the Motorola Xoom makes it into the Android Hall of Fame, but I feel like there's a rotating exhibit where we revisit historical devices, and the Motorola Xoom could be on display there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a special wing.
It gets an honorable mention.
Not Nexus 5 caliber.
Sure.
No, not even an honorable mention. It's just a rotating exhibit of oddities.
It's notable because it was the very first device, tablet device with Honeycomb, which was the first version of Android that was made for a tablet. So it's historical.
So this is what I'm envisioning. The Android Hall of Fame has an exhibit that is like the history of Android, and it highlights the first tablet, things like that. But then you have the Hall of Fame room, which has got the devices that are minted in the Hall of Fame. So this is great. This is gonna be my life's work.
Yes, the Hall of Fame is all in gold. It's like a gold room. And
it's like if you ever been to the Baseball Hall of Fame, it's like the Baseball Hall of Fame is a great baseball museum, and then there's the hollowed room with all the plaques of the Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. There we go.
Back when being in the Hall of Fame meant something.
So it'd be like the Mark McGuire.
Back when the Hall of Fame meant something.
Right.
That's the black.
I was waiting to see where we're going with that.
More like the Joe DiMaggio. Back when it meant something.
Burke just dropped off something that wouldn't make it into the Android Hall of Fame.
Or any Hall of Fame.
The BlackBerry tablet. What was this called?
Oh, God, I remember this tablet. I reviewed it for Ars Technica. It was
the Playbook.
The Playbook. Yeah.
Is it the Playbook?
And then they had a fire sale for like $50.
Oh, it needs to be charged. Burke says it still works, but it's dead. You don't keep this always charged so that you can use it on the fly? Oh, he uses it every single day. That's why it's all run down.
Wow.
This does not run on Android, by the way.
Listen, they shut down BBM. What's the point? Just throw it out.
Yeah.
No BBM, no need for it.
I didn't actually throw it. Okay, thank you for bringing that, Burke. It's time to talk about a sponsor. This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Mint Mobile. If you're still using one of the big wireless providers in 2019, have you asked yourself what you're actually paying for? Between expensive retail stores, inflated prices, hidden fees, you're probably being taken advantage of because they know that you're going to pay, because that's just how people do it. That's how we've always done it. Enter Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile provides the same premium network coverage you're used to, but at a fraction of the cost because everything is online. Mint Mobile saves on retail locations and overhead, then passes those savings directly to you. I've actually been using a SIM on the OnePlus 7 Pro. I've had excellent coverage, so much so that I plan on porting my number from Google Fi over to Mint Mobile to test it out there. Porting is very easily done. Not only is the coverage awesome, the cost is kind of crazy when you compare to the costs that, at least in my case, that I've been accustomed to over the years. Super solid. Mint Mobile makes it easy to cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month. Every plan comes with unlimited nationwide talk and text. With Mint Mobile, you'll stop paying for unlimited data that you'll never use. I know for me, the most data I ever use in a month, any given month, is anywhere from 3 to 6 gigs. That's my usage. Well, you can choose between plans with 3, 8, or 12 gigs of 4G LTE data. You use your own phone, of course, with any Mint Mobile plan, and keep your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. And you can ditch your old wireless bill and start saving by using Mint Mobile. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, it all just arrives in a box ready to go. Go to mintmobile.com/Android. That's mintmobile.com/Android. mintmobile.com/Android, and you can cut your wireless bill to $15 a month. mintmobile.com/Android. And we thank Mint Mobile for their support of this show. It's great to have you guys on. All right. We kind of already went into hardware. I probably should put that in the hardware block, but we've got other hardware to talk about right now. And really, it's one of those like rumory hardware blocks. That's just
rumorware.
Yeah, rumorware.
I was really hoping Victor's setup was gonna screw up the intro, but oh well. So listen, I know that this, Tony, for the past few months I've just been reveling in the world of foldable phones. Between Samsung and all the other ones that are coming down the dock. But now Sony's going to get in the mix with a foldable phone, or should we say a rollable phone?
No, shut the front door.
So this is a concept that we've seen. I feel like we've seen like the design docs around this, or the concept of it, or So this isn't completely new. But sure enough, Sony might have a rollable handset that might be unveiled by the end of the year. It's rumored to have an LG display running Snapdragon 855, running 5G via the Qualcomm X50 modem, and a 3,220 milliamp battery. And the idea is that the display would be so foldable and flexible that it would roll up into a little cylinder that you can just stuck in your pocket. And rolling displays is something like, I remember when OLED first came out, we said, this could be a future of a flexible display that you just roll up and put in your back pocket, like a magazine or something like that. I love it. I want to see it.
Is this we always call back for you the Expanse.
Yes.
Is this the Expanse sort of thing?
No, because Expanse is still a hard piece of glass or plastic that then kind of uses light to project beyond the piece of glass that you're holding. But
that we learned can break.
Yes, we did. Yes. But this is not the rollable type display. But again, I feel like for years we've seen this kind of being theorized. And actually, Victor, I think there's a video of not the actual design of it, but of a Samsung prototype of a rollable display that gives you a sense of what it could look like. If we want to see that, if we can, for those videos. Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
and you kind of
we saw this. This is the one I was thinking of most recently, where it's just this prototype of a rolling display.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Do you think they'll put these in those pens that have the retractable maps, except instead of paper?
That's a very expensive pen.
Yeah, someday.
Yeah.
Well, but it's very expensive until suddenly it's not.
That's true.
Remember, pocket calculators used to be very expensive, and then suddenly they were a dime a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? 20, 30 years down the line, those pens are going to be hot. If you can get in on that business now, start investing, you're investing in the future. What do you think about rollable phones?
It's bound to happen.
It's bound to happen.
But when it happens, will people care? Is this what people want?
The way that things are going, I think, as many times we were making fun of the Galaxy Fold and all the hubbub that happened around it, there was still a feeling of, but this is going to happen. So if it's going to fold or if it's going to roll up, and if they can do it in such a way that it makes it easy for just the everyday average person to be enamored by it, then I'm sure all it needs is a really good marketing campaign, or someone just like a Zoolander moment where you just unfold it, hello, and then fold it back up and put it back in your pocket, and then
maybe that's it.
People were like, "Oh, I want that."
Done. You got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to roll them.
Oh, this guy.
I gotta admit that ever since with the smartphone, we've lost the ability to hang up on someone, right? You gotta take the phone away and press the button. The flip phone allows you to close it, the clamshell, so we get that back. But I would love to be able to hang up with someone and then just kind of like a window shade.
Yes,
pull it and have
I love
it retract
it.
in.
I love it.
Anger.
Pull slightly and then just have it go.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I love it. Are you sold, Flo? Rollable phone? No. Okay.
It's just no. Listen, technology is going this way because you can, but the practical, until I could see something that I can spend money on, I'm just cool.
If you take that video, that Samsung prototype, and it's a pen-shaped cylinder that you pull the phone out, and then there's a mechanism to lock it, so you use it like a display, and then you push it back in, and it is the size of a pen that goes in your purse or your pocket or whatever. That's really cool and compelling.
Man, but once again, we come up on one of the other issues that is just time and time again always there, rearing its ugly head, and that's battery technology has not changed.
Yeah, we're
where's
still
the
on
battery?
lithium-ion.
And so if we want this to be any amount as small as we expect the future rollable phone to be, we need some sort of serious shift in battery technology that accommodates that without adding a huge heft to it. And that's not now.
It's an engineering problem, but it's also a chemistry problem.
Yep.
It's the lithium ion and the sources of energy. We have to find a smaller source of energy that is more compact and holds a charge and that's the challenge. That's where the real innovation needs to come in the hardware. But I don't know where it's going to come out of a lab somewhere in Europe.
Or one of us will invent it and we'll become filthy, stinking rich.
I wish.
So just keep that in the back of your mind.
I don't have that kind of patience.
Yeah, who wants to be filthy, stinking rich anyways?
I'm okay with my middle class status.
All right, Flo, you have the next rumor.
Is it really a rumor if it's a full device render? Well, I guess it is, because it's not completely...
It's not official.
It's not official.
It's not official. It's not been officially confirmed. But it's happening. Things are happening. So Pixel 4 leaks have been just all over the internet these past couple days. If anything did happen, it was the Pixel 4 getting leaked over the holiday weekend. So this time, full device renders of the Pixel 4 XL have started popping around. These renders matched the prior renders that Google had confirmed in a tweet a few weeks ago. The front display has a forehead and chin bezels. The top of it houses a front-facing camera two front-facing cameras, as well as potential Soli radar, which could be used for touchless gesture navigation or the aforementioned Face ID scanning. Now, there's no fingerprint sensor shown, which could mean it's either in the display or the Face ID scanning is going to be the full replacement. There's also a 3-camera array on the back, likely including a standard camera, a telephoto lens, and a wide-angle lens, kind of to fall in with the trend that has been happening across smartphones. There's also no more front-facing speakers. Instead, they've been replaced by dual speakers on either side of the USB-C port on the bottom. Gross. And of course, there's no headphone jack. So that port is your only connection to this phone. Overall, it just looks like a very upgraded version of what we have going now with the XL, except maybe the fingerprint scanner just isn't there, and there's a large square array on the back housing several camera lenses, truly lending credence to the fact that this is going to be a phone with a lot of darn cameras on it. Yeah. So here we go. I'm excited for that, by the way, because one of the things I've really enjoyed about LG's phones the past couple of years are all the cameras that they include on their phones. And they're very fun, especially when you're like out with friends or, you're just out in the world. I mean, I like to hike. I love to take landscape photos, and the wide angle really adds to that. So I'm looking forward to all these cameras. How are you guys feeling about it?
Well, I like the fact that there are a lot of cameras. I think Google needs to do that just to stay kind of modern and relevant. Everybody else is doing
Google
it.
Photos relevant.
Yeah, totally. And, many cameras combined with Google's AI stuff, magic, I think will make, an already great camera system even better. I'm a little nervous about there being no fingerprint sensor, because if Google is really going all in on face detection, they better get it right. And but at the same time, like they do a lot with AI and stuff, so maybe they can get it right with this. What do you think, Tony?
Can I? Sorry, I know you asked somebody.
Flo really wants to go. Go, Flo.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that as a person who wears a lot of makeup and often wears silly sunglasses, the Face ID for me is going to be really hard. Yeah. That's all. Go ahead,
I'm in the same boat. I also wear a lot of makeup. But more importantly, like for me, there are times where I need to unlock my phone and I don't either have enough light, or I'm not even in a position where I can directly look at my phone, and I have to unlock it. The nice thing is, if this is on my dash, I can just kind of reach over and unlock it like that. But if I have to actually look at it, then I'm a distracted driver, and we're going back into that to that whole thing.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not a fan of where the speakers are going. I mean, I know this is a render to concept essentially, but if this is based off of what Google was showing off a couple of weeks ago, I might keep my Pixel 3 XL.
Do you think they changed it because I remember when the Pixel 3 came out, there were complaints about the vibrating sound, and how you can like feel the chassis sort of vibrate when you have the volume up loud. Do you guys think that this has anything to do with that?
A direct reaction to that? Maybe.
Yeah, people complain about that, so we might as well mute it somehow.
Maybe. I don't know if they're going to be that reactionary in a design like this.
Tighten up the chassis.
Yeah, right.
I do think it's the white power button is a stroke of genius. Continuing with the orange power button, just having the in the render, like having the kind of contrasting power button,
right.
Which nobody else seems to be doing, but like they've done now with how many phones in a row with the Pixel line, like everything.
It's
a
a
nice
simple
contrast.
aesthetic choice.
Yeah, it's a nice signature.
Tiny bump for those cameras.
The camera, it's hard to
a lot
tell.
of hardware to stuff into a thin candy
I'll probably
bar.
put a case on it anyway, so I'm not going to see it.
Totally.
Also, Tony, as an aside, I think the new car mode that is going to be built into Android Q should help take care of some of the problems, because I have the same issue as you where I have to unlock my phone when I'm driving, like with the little thing. And I think the new car mode is supposed to help fix that, because I don't know. It's coming. It's not here yet, so I haven't been able to test it outside of a Google Bless demo.
All right.
But I think it's supposed to help with that, hopefully.
I will say in the face unlock, where like I've talked previously with the OnePlus 7 that I'm on with the pop-up front-facing camera, I've now disabled face unlock, and so I'm living a post-face unlock world. So not having face unlock is no loss to me. In fact, it's fine. But that said, I'm not like you guys. I don't drive, so I don't need to unlock the phone while driving. So it's interesting if they're thinking about all those use cases.
Does Samsung have the patent for their for that fingerprint, in-screen fingerprint? Because I know it's different than what OnePlus uses. So, like, is it? Do
you mean the ultrasonic versus the optical?
Yeah,
I don't believe so. I don't think that they're the only ones that are able to do the ultrasonic.
I'm trying to Google it now.
Because that would be nice. I mean, I still feel like there should be options for people. Like, obviously, you have a password, you have a PIN, you have a facial unlock, but then for individuals that have gotten used to using fingerprint, or just feel, even though it's kind of a false sense of security, but they feel more secure, having that would be a lot more beneficial than not having it. Options are good.
Yeah,
if you can engineer it.
Yeah. And
it's worth noting that Samsung does have the patent on the optical version of the fingerprint scanning.
Not the optical.
The biometric scanner built into the display layer
that they are using. I wonder.
Yeah, not the optical under-screen scanner that OnePlus
uses with Lite.
Yeah.
But is that to say that Samsung is the only manufacturer that can use an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor or that particular implementation of ultrasonic?
It,
Yeah, or
as long as you program it differently, I don't think there's a patent infringement. It has to be or something. I didn't pay attention to those patent wars all those years.
I mean, that's literally the definition. Like, if you use the technology, you need to get permission. I'm not gonna get into it, but just because if you have the same
patent
concept and come up with a different way of doing it, that's still a patent violation. Yeah. So
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll certainly find out, won't we? Yes, we will.
We certainly will.
So, okay, as you know, I was out of town for the past week. Was off the shows because I was taking a vacation.
Good for you.
Nothing spectacular. I went to Boise to see family, but still, it was great. While I was gone, I happened to take a tablet with me that I got shortly after Megan was kind of packing up her office and about to leave. She had this tablet. She's like, I never was able to review the Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite. I had it. I was going to do it as an Android review. I just didn't get around to it. So she gave it to me to check out, and I took it on my trip. And I have to say, I enjoyed it a lot. So I thought I'd kind of give it a little bit of a spin on the show and give it a little bit of a review. As you can see, this is full aluminum build of the MediaPad M5 Lite. Feels really sturdy, feels substantial. It's a 10.1 inch 1920 by 1200 IPS LCD display, and it's LCD, so that kind of works for the fact that this is, I would say, kind of like a mid-range tablet option, kind of in the mid-range area. It's $300 tablet, so definitely more than the Walmart On tablet that I reviewed a few weeks ago. But the LCD display, is not as amazing as something like an OLED or whatever, but definitely the display on this device is one of its big upsides. It has kind of a nice curved glass on the tablet itself. You can kind of see it curving on the edges, which gives it a nice feel. It does have that fingerprint sensor down at the bottom, which I have to say I really like having on a tablet. It makes it really easy, A, to go home if you like, even though the home button is right there, but B, it's just really nice to be able to tap that and get in through security on a tablet, which is something I'm so used to on a phone, not as much so on a tablet. It has a quad speaker array, 2 at the top and then 2 down in the bottom. These are actually Harman Kardon tuned speakers. They actually sound really nice when I'm playing games or when I'm watching a movie or whatever, and especially compared to the aforementioned On tablet that I reviewed that sounded like a greeting card speakers, basically. Ugh, and I'm not even exaggerating on that. Power, volume, and rocker, or the power and volume rocker are on this side, which is, which they operate really well. They're nice and firm. The one complaint I have is like when I'm playing Dr. Mario, it forces perspective in a portrait perspective like this with the power button on the bottom. So if you happen to be lapping it, have it in your lap while you're playing, you might bump into that and kind of push into it. But that's kind of a small complaint as far as that's concerned. 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage. It does have a micro SD card slot that you can get to right over here. There are other versions of this tablet that also share this slot with a SIM card. So you could drop a SIM card in there and have a true mobile experience if you like. This does not have that, just FYI. And a 7,500 milliamp hour battery with USB-C fast charge, which the USB-C is down there as well. It also has the Courage port, so you've got a headphone port. It has some really cool features, one of which I forgot to bring into the studio here with me, but I will get it after the show. It's the M Pen, which is basically Huawei's S Pen replacement. Samsung has their S Pen. This has the M Pen. It's a stylus. It takes 4A batteries. So it's not a rechargeable pen by any stretch. You use the pen. You throw the what is that? A quadruple A battery. I'm so not used to quadruple A batteries. So you might have to buy a pack and have them on, stocked up just in case it burns out. But 2048 layer pressure sensitivity, which is totally fine. If that happens to be your thing. I have no real need for a stylus when I'm using a tablet personally, but I think it's really nice that it includes this on a $300 tablet. So that's pretty cool. Oh, hey, Burke. Thank you. Actually, here it is. Here's the M Pen. It's amazing, isn't it? It actually has a clip and everything, but it's kind of also aluminum as well. So it's got a nice tight feel to it. And they have some apps installed on here that you can, use to draw and write and actually transcribe your notes. Chrome OS. What's that?
I use that app on Chrome OS.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually
as well.
Kind of cool because here, I'm going to try without an account because as you write here, I'll go ahead.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Nice.
So testing, and you can see it dropped in. It was able to recognize my scribbly handwriting and transcribe it into testing and everything. So this is not a dumb pen. This is an active pen. And so if you like, having stylus, like an active stylus, this is definitely something to check out, especially considering it comes with the tablet and it's $300. So you get that right out of the box. And
Does
again,
it have a tilt sensitivity?
For like different edges and stuff? I don't know if this is the right app to show that off, because this app, whether I'm light or hard, it's the same thickness. You know what I mean? And I think that's
You want to
partially
try
because
a drawing app.
it would be more like a drawing app, and I don't know how to find that based on the things that were included on the app. It's probably not going to be my script calculator, that's for sure. But 1 + 1 equals 2. Hey, you know, Huawei, you got it right. Good job. All right, so that's the M Pen. What's up, Flo?
I tried out the Huawei MediaPad M5, I think, if I recall correctly, a while back, and they make really good tablets. I know we talk a lot about who's making tablets these days, and whoa, someone's doing fractions now.
I'm adding
which
to
is
it,
scary. I don't like it. And I really wish that more folks knew about like Huawei's tablets, because they still make pretty compelling Android tablets for what people want a tablet to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're not so pricey.
Yeah, and I would agree. That's kind of the definition of this tablet, right? $300. And it does get a lot of the basics right. For one, the display, like I said, is really great for this price range. You get 1080p content that looks really nice and sharp. It impressed me anyways.
People just want to watch video. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I watched some YouTube videos, watched a little bit on Netflix. Things look great. I also played a lot of games. So performance-wise, this has EMUI 8.0, which as a kind of environment for the home screen and interface is not necessarily my favorite. It's definitely a skinned environment, but I will give it that it seems and felt really fast. I never really felt like it was slowing me down necessarily. Everything felt, pretty quick and snappy. And I can hop around and all the typical stuff you do throughout the UI to kind of show that it's fast. It's got a Kirin 659 that I feel like performs pretty well for this class, and it makes the interface and the games that I played not trip up or anything. Skyforce Reloaded, of course, is one of my all-time favorites. The new Dr. Mario World, tease for a little bit later in the show. They perform perfectly. Asphalt 9 is a highly intensive mobile game with a lot of action, a lot of high-res graphics. I put it on high-quality graphics and played through, and there's a little bit of choppiness here and there. That's where I could kind of tell that this is maybe a lesser, a lower quality processor inside, but it still worked. It's
300.
Things look great, and it still moved. It was just things would kind of stutter at points, but it did not make it unplayable. And I think that Huawei would also position this as kind of a good device for kids. It has this Kids Corner app, which has its own interface, and it's lockable, so you can kind of bring the stuff in here, and lock your kids into a controlled universe of apps and games and that sort of stuff. And you're going to know my password for my parent device, which is 1234. I do that just for you. So it ships with Android 8 Oreo. So this is with Oreo. This came out a few months ago. And I was a little disappointed when I kind of was doing some research on the device, because Huawei had told PC Mag back in February that this device would receive no OS updates. I find that very concerning if it was, launched with Android 8 Oreo and it never received another OS update. But in April, Huawei released launch plans for EMUI 9.1. That is based on Android Pie, and the M5 Lite is listed there in that post. So no time frame, but I think that's good news. At least you should get this device upgraded to Android Pie and the new EMUI 9.1 that you're seeing in Huawei's newest devices. If you can find them. Of course, that's the other challenge, is Huawei has a challenge, at least here in the United States, of getting its devices seen. You can buy this on Amazon. It's $299.99, which I think is a pretty reasonable price. I think it's a great tablet at an affordable price, nice quality display, and actually the design is very nice. It feels like I really enjoyed pulling this out and using it. And that's not always the case with all tablets that I've used recently. It would make a solid kids tablet option. But like I said, I enjoyed using it well for myself. I think the only thing that scares me is this whole update scenario. I think, having those communication lines crossed is a little concerning. But I'd be really, really surprised if Huawei didn't at least update it to Pi, because they're doing it with so many of their other devices right now. And this came out literally a couple of months ago. So that is the Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite. And I don't know. What do you guys think?
Who says tablets are dead?
Well, a lot of people seem to say that, but I think this is a great tablet that shows that they're not entirely.
As a loyal tablet user, I think that, like a lot of people have a hard time with what the use case is, but in terms of, a reading device, a media device, where you're showing there a creativity device, drawing and things like that, it has a lot of practical applications. And with a good device, a tablet can be really enriching piece of hardware to have in your repertoire. It's a little bigger than a phone, a little smaller than a laptop, right? It fits that gaming, it fits. It definitely checks a lot of boxes. And whenever I've had a good tablet, I've always been the better for it. So I'm glad to see a good one out there.
Yeah, every morning I would wake up and I'd play. I'm getting far on Skyforce Reloaded. I'm so proud of my progress. But anyways, sometimes I'd have to play it on my phone, and it just wasn't the same. Like, I wanted to get back on this tablet and play the dang game because it's just so much fun. But having all of that extra screen real estate really, it goes a long way of showing why a tablet can sometimes be the better solution than just a tiny little phone.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to get lost if I start playing this game, so I'm going to stop. There we go. And I'm going to go home with a fingerprint sensor. And there you go. Great tablet, worth checking out. Huawei's MediaPad M5 Lite with the included M Pen as well. All right, so we've got a ton of feedback this week. We thought we would answer a whole bunch of it, but we have to take a break here, thank the sponsor, and then we will get to all of your feedback. And I can't wait because there's some really good ones in there. This episode of All About Android is brought to you by DoorDash. DoorDash is awesome. If you haven't used it, you should definitely check it out. It's all about eating and stuff, and who doesn't love that? DoorDash connects you to your favorite restaurants in your city. You love to cook, but you're not in the mood to do dishes, let's say, or what's that dish from that favorite restaurant that you can never recreate at home? Well, now you don't have to do that. You can get it delivered with DoorDash. Ordering is easy. You just use the DoorDash app and choose what you want to eat. And a Dasher will actually bring it to you anywhere you happen to be. Not only is that burger place that you love on DoorDash already, but over 310,000 other amazing restaurants are on there. Here, I'm going to pull up the DoorDash app here real quick and show just all of the different options in my area anyways. There we go. You got Applebee's, China Chef, Acme Burger, Elroy's. Ooh, Elroy's Mexican Grill. That's some good stuff right there. Don Poncho's. Got a whole bunch of options. Let's see if I can find. Wait a minute. Baskin Robbins is on DoorDash.
That sounds good.
Baskin Robbins really does sound good. I could go into their desserts section and I could find. Let's see here. What could I find? Oh, a mint chocolate chip puller pizza. $22.10. Heck yeah, I'd order that. In fact, I did earlier today. We were in a meeting and I pulled up the DoorDash app and I ordered that. And I got a pizza. Actually, it's a pizza pie. I was trying to tie it in with the here, let me put this upside down
Wow.
here.
I haven't had one of those in ages.
I know. Doesn't that look yummy? Looks delicious. I can't wait to eat this.
Wow.
We're going to save you. We're not going to eat this on the show, but we will eat it after the show. So
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. You picked a good day to come into the studio.
An Oreo
Tony.
and pie.
I know. See?
Wow, that's a
Exactly.
double whammy. That's great.
Yeah.
So I placed this order, and a Dasher actually delivered it 20 minutes earlier than I was quoted in the app. So it was pretty awesome. It came right before.
That's awesome. That's great.
Pretty sweet stuff. So you can find door-to-door delivery in over 3,300 cities in all 50 states and Canada. You order from your local go-tos, choose your favorite chains like Chipotle, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, Cheesecake Factory. Oh, that would be another great one to use for the show. I love that DoorDash is a sponsor, by the way, because we can order food. Don't worry about dinner. Let dinner come to you with DoorDash. Right now, our listeners can get $5 off their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app. Make sure and enter promo code Android. That's $5 off your first order when you download the DoorDash app from the App Store and enter promo code Android. Again, that's promo code Android for $5 off your first order from DoorDash. Just look it up. You're going to find it right there in the Google Play Store. Download it, install it, use code Android. You'll get $5 off, and you'll thank me later after you've eaten your ice cream pie or whatever you choose to order. That is DoorDash, and we thank DoorDash for their support of this show. What a fun time. All right, so let's read some emails. Read and watch, because we've got a mixture, starting with Ron.
I'm going to kick this off, all right? So Nick wrote in and said, hey, Ron. So this is just to me, guys. So if you can just not listen. All right. In the last episode, you mentioned you don't like watching videos on your phone because of the frequent interruptions by notifications and alerts. I'm happy to report to you that your OnePlus has a feature that will take care of this for you, gaming mode. If you set up gaming mode to block all notifications and add your video apps as games, you'll no longer receive pop-up alerts and get distracted while watching video. This works for productivity apps if you need help focusing too. And Nick, that is a great tip. And I have used gaming mode with games. And in fact, on the OnePlus 7, not only do they have a gaming mode, but within gaming mode, they have a fanatic mode, which also adjusts all your settings to completely optimize your display and your battery life and your data speeds and all stuff like that to give you the utmost gaming kind of focused attention. But you're right. You could hack this and load in your video apps or productivity apps and block all things like that. That's a good pro tip for OnePlus users. That said, despite the notifications, I also don't like watching video on my OnePlus because it's just too darn slippery. And I find myself trying to it constantly falls out of my hand and that sort of thing. It's okay. I'm an old man. I like TV. So I'm going to watch my TV on TV. But you kids can watch TV on your phones like Flo. So
it's because I watch it in bed with the blankets pulled up over me, and it's just so comfortable.
Yeah, you bring the TV.
Yeah, I know.
Bring the TV close to you with your phone.
I go to sleep. I go to sleep in my bed.
Boring.
I eat in my bed. I work in my. I'm the worst. I'm one of those people.
Well, still, there's an option. Did you ever get a chance to check out the OnePlus 7 Pro that came out not too long ago?
I had not, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome with that pop-out camera and everything. It is very slippery, though.
I definitely saw a lot of videos. Slippery. I didn't get a chance to mess
to the point where if I put the phone down on the table on something that's slightly diagonal, it will slide off and slide right off the table like a lot. I've gotten to the point now because I have a work phone and that has like a rubberized kind of case around it, and I put that on the desk and I put the OnePlus on top of it and it grabs the rubber grip and stays there.
Like a coaster.
Yeah. Glass hack.
Yep. Glass hack.
All right, Flo, you got the next one.
This is actually a video mail, so I'm not reading anything. We're going to watch something now.
Hi, All About Android crew. This is Peter. I emailed before about my garden planning app, Planter, and I heard you talking about apps that could disable your camera for the in-display camera. And I'd actually like to point out another app I made. This is actually the first app that I made while working as a defense contractor before I switched into Android development. And it's called LensCap. It's in the Play Store. It's free. It's also open source because people that download these types of apps tend to be more paranoid. So rest assured, free, open source, only requires one permission, and that's for the in-app purchase if you choose to donate. So here it is. You just click this button right here, and it'll actually disable your camera. So now if I go to the camera app, it just closes right away. It also has a nice little toggle up here in the quick settings. So you just click that and your camera is back on. All right, cool. Well, thanks for the great podcast. Bye.
That app is LensCap.
I just dropped the link in the chat. And Peter, thank you so much for sending that. And also, I love your. I could tell that you were wearing an Android shirt, which looked very cool. And I wish I could see the whole thing. I just found it's called LensCap Disable Camera. It's in the Play Store. It's free and it's simple. It's literally just put the cap on or take it off, exactly like you would in real life.
That's
genius in simplicity. That's fantastic.
So what was this tied to? Was this a discussion last week about I was trying to remember where this came up on the show, but who knows when it came up.
I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Sometimes we say things and we don't even know. We just kind of throw them out
That's
there.
for sure.
And move on.
That's for sure.
But anyways, I'm happy that Peter's app gets more exposure because Planter is a really great app. It helped my wife actually plot out a planter box that we have in our backyard.
There you go.
She used
Well,
it.
that's nice. My husband just throws seeds into a box and just waits for something to grow.
My kind of guy.
It works, though. It works fine. I mean,
So I have an email from Tracy who says, I have the Pixel 3 XL and have a very strange issue regarding SMS and notification sounds. Sometime back, I had set an SMS notification sound via Zedge, which has been featured on the show, for a contact of mine. Eventually, the sound got annoying, and I changed it to something else. That worked fine until about 2 weeks ago. The sound has now reverted to the old sound. I've tried Zedge and the built-in picker to change the sound, but nothing will change it. Sounds like a nightmare. This one contact is stuck with this old sound. I've tried everything I can short of resetting the phone or deleting the contact. Any ideas? I don't really have any good ideas other than exactly what you said. I would say write down all the pertinent information for that contact and delete the contact.
Delete the contact. That's the easiest.
And like it's probably not going to be that much information. Or take a screenshot of it or something and save that screenshot and then re-enter it in. It might give you 2-3 minutes of inconvenience. Try that and see if that disconnects the link that associates that sound. Like I don't know if that sound is linking through the actual contact online or if it's through the phone. You might find that when you type everything in that it returns because it might be stashed on the phone and referencing something like the name, which wouldn't change between the old version and the new version. If that's the case, I would say maybe do that again, but add like a space at the end of the last name or something like that. Something in there that's different that doesn't visually bug you. And that's why I say put a space at the end or maybe at the beginning, because then it's not something that, it doesn't look like an asterisk or something like that. And maybe that would be enough to break the link. I don't know. Any other ideas or suggestions?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't go as far as resetting the whole phone.
No, that seems like overkill.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends on how much you hate that sound. Maybe it's worth it. And everybody could stand to kind of reset their phone and start from scratch everyone, now and again.
Nothing wrong with that. You got to make sure you have like a clear afternoon though, where you have nothing else to do but set up your phone. That's like the best.
And be really, really sure that you don't have some random app with data that's stored only in there and didn't store in the cloud.
Didn't store it.
And I've had that a couple of times with audio recording apps on the device, and I might put like a song idea in there,
some note-taking apps. That's happened to me.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's gone forever. And you get over it, but whatever. Anyway, so I don't know if that's very helpful. You kind of, yes. Or you remember, you're like, wait a minute, what was that thing? So anyways, hope that helps, Tracy. Let us know.
All right, we got another email from Joe who says, I was listening to your tablet roundup, and you didn't mention the Pixel C. I've been using it since March of 2017, and I love it. It's my go-to device for when I'm home. I just hope it lasts a long time because I'm going to be sad when it dies. And Joe, I hope you've been watching the show earlier when we talked about tablets, and and it's sad when technology goes away like that BlackBerry Playbook. But I got some possibly bad news. Rumored that it's somewhat rumored that the Google Pixel C may not be getting any more security updates. Which is sad. But hopefully, as of June, which is right around the corner. Or was right around the corner.
Yeah, we're firmly. We're on the other side of the corner now.
We're on the other side of the corner. So
you're across the street.
But hey, man, if it works for you, just don't connect to the internet. Just stay off a network. It'll be fine. But it's sad when I loved my Nexus 9 tablet, and when that thing died, I was very upset. So it wasn't until I got my Asus ZenPad, which is still kicking, and I'm reading a book right now. I was reading the new Neil Stephenson novel on it the other night. It's a good tablet. You got to hold on to it. Hold on to it.
Hold on to that tablet, man.
Yeah.
Hold on to the tablet.
Let's see here. My daughter still uses the Pixel C that we have, and I have been pretty impressed by the amount of updates. Like every month, there would be a new system update that would appear. So it's kind of sad here that last month was the last update that it'll probably get.
We hardly knew
That's so
ye.
sad.
We hardly knew ye, or we knew ye very well since 2015, which is a long time in Android terms. But
I was just gonna say, like, in terms of Android hardware, like 3 years is about what you can expect. I mean, like, lifespan.
Yeah. It's too bad you can't expect more, but that's kind of what we've come to get used to. Yeah. Become used to.
Get a slate.
Yeah. What, a Pixel slate? No, I think Google's not, they're done with that one too. They gave up on that one a lot sooner. Although they're going to still support it. They're going to still support that through like 20.
I feel like I should just buy one just to have one at this point, just to like.
Yeah, well, we can talk. Well, I have one.
Got one you can sell.
Although I didn't buy it with my money. It's Twit
No, I
money,
know.
so we can't talk for very long. All right, Flo, you got the next one.
So I appreciate somebody writing in about this because I'm continuing to have problems. This is from Felipe. I noticed Flo is having issues with the Mi Box S, and I think I can help. I certainly hope so.
Nice.
I have lots of Xiaomi products because they have high quality and affordable prices. True. But although I think the Xiaomi Mi Box S is not the best representation of Xiaomi products, I was able to easily fix some of the issues I had. And hopefully this helps you too. I certainly hope so. To fix the slowness of the box after it goes to sleep, that sometimes makes it restart, or you have to restart manually to get the normal speed again, go to Settings, HDMI CEC, and enable all settings and restart the Mi Box. That should fix all your issues. I'm going to try that.
Voila!
To improve the performance / reaction time of the Mi Box, this is valid for any Android phone as well. Go to About, Build, and press the OK button several times to activate the developer options. I believe it's 7 times. I wonder if it's the same on Android TV. When you see the on-screen info, you are now a developer, go back and choose developer options. Change the window, transition, animator scale to 0.5x, which is recommended, to have a speedy Android with less lag, or choose off on all options to have it even more reactive as all animations will be disabled. I can see how this would actually help a lot with the interface and making things just run a little more smoothly. So I'm definitely going to try that. I'll be waiting for feedback on these issues, and I hope this improves your Xiaomi Mi Box S and you'll be able to enjoy it. I sure do. Thank you, Felipe. I'm definitely going to try those things. However, I need help now because the remote has stopped working.
Oh, man.
No idea
If
why.
it's not one thing, it's another.
So
What you got, Felipe?
I changed batteries, like 3 different fresh batteries. We have like a whole box of fresh batteries. I did rechargeable and disposable. Nothing works. The only way we've been controlling it now is through the app on either of our phones. And so when my cousin was staying here, was house sitting while we were gone, she had no way to control the poor Android TV, which was a bummer because I wanted to give her access to all my Nano 2.0. And she couldn't have access to it because she couldn't use the Mi Box.
Huh.
Yeah, but she didn't know how to cast. I taught her how to cast from her iPhone, so she was able to do that with all the Chromecasts. But all the media is on the Android TV. Like that's the Jackbox.
Yeah, right. Now, there is an app in the Play Store, an Android TV remote app. Yeah. I don't know if it's still...
that I use.
That is the one
you have?
And it's poorly rated on both iOS and Android.
It's not very good, but it exists and it might get you through the interface. Yeah. But yeah, it's not very good though. It's actually kind of surprising how bad it is.
Effort to
control your hardware that you paid money for.
Well, yeah, you have to go into the settings and then be a developer when you're not a developer.
Yeah.
But I'm used to this as an Android user though. Like I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But it's embarrassing when I have folks come over to my house and I'm like, sorry, you can't access my vast library of 90s television that I've curated over the years because the remote isn't working.
Because Android.
Because Android
it's
TV.
The life we live.
TV, yeah.
Android TV is a very special case. And the more I try to get out of it, the more I stumble and I keep thinking to myself, maybe I should buy a Roku. Because as we learned in last week's episode, Roku sales are going up and Chromecast and Android TV sales have kind of stagnated.
What about NVIDIA?
The Shield TV.
The Shield TV.
I'm waiting for a refresh. I'm not going to buy something old at this point. I know people are saying I could, but
I don't know.
I'm waiting.
It's like Roku. I don't know why. Like I'm not anti-Roku, but I feel like my parents have Rokus.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
used
Like
to
I
use
feel
it,
like
but
you know, and like
not a
that's
bad
fine
thing.
because it's fine because it's simple and it works and that makes sense. But I feel like I want something a little more robust, a little more, you know, like. But that said, I will
Little
say
geekier?
Chromecast, a little geekier. I will say
Okay.
that we have, you know, like our household is Chromecast. You know, I've you know, running it all from my phone and with the Chromecast. And man, there's nothing worse than in the middle of, like last night, in the middle of Chernobyl from HBO, when the HBO app loses its connection and it dies, and you got to reconnect, and then you got to like all this stuff that just works against Chromecast and using it is just very frustrating. So, so I do feel the Flo. I do feel the tempt of Roku in terms of its simplicity. I would love if there was somewhere in between Chromecast and Roku that really should be Android TV, like an Android TV dongle that does the same thing but has that, you know, like a easy to use interface and a remote, and that just makes this all simple.
Just get a Raspberry Pi and, you know, hack it your
I
way.
have one. I already did all that.
It's too much work for the moment you say it.
It's too much work. I am busy running a household. I am the one who configures all this stuff in the house, and I need things that are simple and easy. That is not an Apple TV.
So a Roku?
Yeah.
Yeah, Victor seems to say Roku as well.
I'll update you guys. I'll figure something out. I'll
Keep
see
us
what I-
posted. Final email from a friend of the network, Sam Abu Al-Samid from Navigant Research, writer for Forbes. We've had him on Tech News Weekly a number of times, and he's also been on Twit a number of times. I don't think he's been on All About Android, but apparently he listens.
We should invite him. He knows a lot about Android Auto.
Totally.
He's been on All About Android, hasn't he? Or am I just mistaken?
No, I don't think Sam
has.
Google. I don't think Sam has been on All About Android. So
I've done shows with Sam.
Did you do
On Twit, maybe?
This Week in Google?
Tech News Weekly? Yeah, who the heck knows? He's been on a lot of the shows. He has not been on All About Android.
We should have him on. He's
we
great.
should definitely have him on. But he's getting on today because he wrote an email, and it's a great email. So he says, I totally agree with Flo that touchscreens don't belong in cars. The move to screens has been driven in part by the need to have an interface to all the new features that keep getting added to cars, like heated and cooled and massaging seats, information about how much energy your EV or hybrid is using, navigation, automatic climate control, media options like satellite radio. It became too much to have buttons for everything. Engineering and validating buttons and switches and the related wiring is also costly. Back in the early 2000s, BMW introduced iDrive. It's a rotary controller on the console that is actually a much better solution than touchscreens. However, it also costs more than a touchscreen, so you typically only find these on controls in a more premium cars while mainstream stuff stays with touch. Some companies like Cadillac and Lexus have tried trackpads, but these aren't very good either. After dabbling with touch controls at the beginning of this decade, like Ford's infamous MyFord Touch system, most manufacturers have gone back to a set of physical controls for the most used features like volume, tuning, and climate control, and hidden other stuff in the screen. It's actually, I don't know why I had never thought about this stuff before, but it makes a lot of sense why logically they did this. Sam says, if I were in charge, I would immediately ban all touchscreen interfaces from cars. That's a pretty definitive statement from Sam.
This is why I love Sam, because Sam and I are on the same page about driving. Like when you are driving, the only thing you should be paying attention to is the road and the cars around you, because that's the best way to prevent. And we don't have we have assisted driving. We don't have the kind of driving that will just do it for us at this point in time of humanity.
Not yet.
So, and you know, I like Android Auto. I like the idea of buying a car where I could just plug in my phone and have an interface pop up and have all that stuff work. But the less interaction I have with the touchscreen, the better. And I have to say, adding that the Anchor Rove, the one that has Google Assistant in the car, has really helped my life.
Oh, nice.
It really helps with just like getting basic directions to a place, or just like calling somebody, or maybe bringing up a different, album or something. So cars are getting smarter, and how do we keep it from distracting us from the road?
Yeah, that's the challenge that they're all trying to solve.
I'm going to look into that Rove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's $50.
Yeah.
I bought it on Amazon. I think you could buy it anywhere.
Yeah, it's a cool solution.
Yeah, and it connects via auxiliary, and then it actually does the Bluetooth for the calling as well.
Nice.
So,
cool.
yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Unrelated to cars, but I'm still stuck on the TV rabbit hole.
Yes.
I was like, how is there not an Android TV dongle? And then I was reminded that about a little over a year ago, remember there was that Android TV dongle that was a developer device?
Yeah,
that,
what
that
happened
made it
to
through.
that?
It stayed internal and developer device and was just getting FCC approval for developers to work with. And Google has never productized it or released it.
All right.
You should go knock on Google's door and be like, excuse me, are you doing anything with this dongle? Because my Mi Box S keeps crashing.
So the closest it's come to was the Google and the JBL soundbar that had Android TV and Google Assistant embedded in the soundbar. So Flo, maybe you should get that.
That's actually, in case anybody wanted to know about my current setup, I'm getting rid of a 5.1 stereo sound system, like over 10 years old, and I want to consolidate to a soundbar. So that might be something I look into for our household. Because we just have a plain old TV. I'm not replacing.
That soundbar, by the way, still coming soon, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Wait, really? I thought it was out already.
I could be wrong. But
everybody goes to Amazon.
I mean, I go to B&H photo video pre-order. It's still there for pre-order. All the articles I see say keeps getting delayed.
That's crazy.
That's really crazy. I mean, maybe I'm missing it. Maybe it is still available. Maybe it is available. I don't know. I'm seeing some at Best Buy, but I don't know if they're the Android TV versions. God, I could have sworn it was out already.
I'll let you guys know what I come up with. I am overhauling the whole living room entertainment center because I got rid of all the furniture because I'm trying to just like empty out my house and make it more open and because it's small. Yeah. So I'll let you guys know what I figure out on that realm. I'll do some digging.
All right.
Yeah, so all the articles I'm seeing. So February, Android TV, JBL soundbar keeps getting delayed. March 1st, JBL delays link bar release again.
Yeah. Wow. I wonder
JBL link bar.
Because that was like a big deal at I/O 2 years ago.
It was a big deal at CES. They showed it off at CES.
I was like, can't wait for that.
It's on for pre-order at B&H.
Yep.
And there's nothing since March and February with an update about it.
Yeah, it's not looking
crazy.
too hot.
I have things to do and TV shows to watch, so in stereo.
Remember when Eric Schmidt predicted, Jason, you remember when Eric Schmidt predicted that Android TV would be on 2/3 of all televisions?
Yes.
Do you remember that, right? Like that crazy prediction?
Apparently he just had to say that.
They got a couple of OEM deals and then they ran the numbers and they're just like, look at this growth rate. Like this is why you don't have this is the danger of having only MBAs run your business.
It's totally gonna happen. Yeah, still waiting.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
Yep.
All right. It's time to get serious. All right. Wipe that smile off your face. It's time for the arena.
Okay.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
You too, Tony. Wipe that smile off your face. Thank you.
In all seriousness, just for Ron, I almost played the Mateo Android Arena bumper.
I'm glad. Thank you for not doing that. So
that would have been weird. Would have been weird. Okay, so we aren't going to show the poll today or something because something weird happened with it.
Poll issues. We had some poll issues last week, but we can tell you that we can tell you that I came in last, and Flo came in second, and Mateo came in first. And so, with that said, the arena results through 26 weeks are Flo's in first place with 81 points. The guests, which Tony will be representing, are in second place at 74 points. I am still in second place with 55 points. And Jason, since you missed a week, you're in last with 51 points.
I should have pulled a Ron and threw something in there and had you guys go to bat for me.
Yeah, you gotta represent, man. Yeah. I was on Jason, that show, by the way. It wasn't like I was completely off the show. I was on for the first third of the show.
Oh, okay, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So, but yes, I'm in third place, Burke. I'm sorry if I misspoke. I'm in third place with 55 points. But Jason, I got to give you credit. You skip a week and then you come back to the arena with a ringer. So
yeah, I got to take my entries when I can. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Fine. I knew you guys wouldn't be happy that I picked Dr. Mario World.
I did get invited to the beta and I signed up for it, but I haven't gotten the notice yet. So
well, it is out. You don't need to wait for your beta anymore. It's out.
Oh.
So yeah, they actually released it a day early, so it is now available.
Why didn't I get an email? Why didn't I get a notification about that?
Because those things never work the way they should. You sign up for a beta.
Google
and then
Play
you never
notification. I did not get an email about it. I got like your app is ready for you to play now.
Well, you can. You don't have to wait for the beta. You're not special like all the beta testers. You're just another person as far as Nintendo is concerned. So, Dr. Mario World, we've been waiting for this, or maybe we haven't, but I've been curious, and it's kind of hard because I think the tab is just a slight bit larger than the camera here, but that's okay. So you have the familiar kind of map system. As you can see, I've played through the first. I'm going to turn this down. It's already distracting me. Go away, Nintendo. The first 20 levels, as you can see here, and then I went into the next map. You can play as different doctors right now. I'm that bad boy. And you've got different power-ups, of course, that take coins. So this is where you start to see kind of Nintendo's, kind of in-app purchase approach that we've talked about in previous episodes. You can, of course, purchase gems for unlimited continues, though I haven't run into a wall yet as far as being able to play further than I wanted to. But let's get to the gameplay. So let's see here. I'm going to use the score increase for 500 coins. This means that this increases my end of level score by 10%. I'm going to start it. Boom. I'm going to get in there, and we'll see the gameplay layout. So what you can see right here are the different viruses, 47 of them to be exact, different colors. These happen to be covered in ice, which means when I drop a pill onto them, these are red. It's instead of removing them, it's going to remove the ice. But because it did that, it explodes all the bricks around, exposing the yellows. I can pull it out here, and I can swap it around if I like. Drop that there. Boom. It's not going to remove those. Those are blue, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that in there. Boom. I can actually move that after the fact. I didn't move it fast enough. I could have moved it on top of the yellow to pop it. But you kind of get a sense of what this is all about. Let's see here. So I'm going to go pop and drop that there. And then I'm going to move that over there. And then it's going to take care of those yellow bad guys. And then I'm going to get this little pill out here. And it's going to take care of that. Poof. The ice is gone. Nice little icebreaker. And then I can get rid of those. And you have to do it. So basically you have a certain number of capsules. In this case, I have 19 more. And this is, of course, your progress meter. How quickly can you eliminate all of the bad guys on the screen? That's what you're trying to do here. So I'll go ahead and pop this out. Okay, great. That didn't go the way I expected. Whatever. This is like a gets anything. It applies to any color. It's a super pill or whatever you want to call it. And there are also, here, I'm just going to drop this. There are also other power-ups down here. So, if I wanted to hammer, I can't remember exactly what these do. I've used them only a couple of times, but you do not have enough diamonds. So this is where you start running into the in-app purchases. If I wanted to use that, I'd have to have enough diamonds. I do not, but I could go to the shop and purchase some if I like. I don't like. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those guys. Every time I go, you can see my doctor is filling up on energy. Each doctor has a specific kind of ability. And so once this is charged up, I can use that ability to eliminate even more on the screen at once. Here, I just want to pass a level here for you. We'll go ahead and eliminate those. Whatever. Put that there. Sure. Why not? Okay. We'll get rid of that guy. We'll get rid of those yellows. Can I use that? No, I can't even use the power up. Dang it. That's okay. I'm going to pass the level, though. And there you go. I passed the level. And I did it with 11 capsules to spare. Hopefully that boosts up to, yes, 3 stars. So there you go. I get some coins, move on, wash, rinse, repeat. This is Dr. Mario World. So far, it's fun. It's a little, I'll be honest, it's a little boring to me. I think I expected it to be a little bit more, I don't know, interesting or whatever. But it might be your cup of tea.
I just downloaded it and installed it while you were doing it, and I agree. I already uninstalled it.
Oh, wow. Wow. You really gave it the full test there, Ron.
Well, I got discouraged because I got excited that you could choose your character because much like Mario Kart, I prefer playing as Waluigi, the greatest character in the Mario Pantheon.
Okay.
And you need to clear 20 levels before you can change characters, and I don't have time for that.
Yeah, it takes about half an hour to get through those levels.
Yeah.
Half an hour, 45 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
But
Waluigi.
Yeah, you know. Oh, and you can show this real quick. Like different things, like the shells. If I collapse this, the shells go boop boop, like that, and gets rid. So they have different powers.
I was fascinated upon the loading screen to see that this was co-developed with Line and
Yes.
NHN or whatever. Given that it's a Nintendo, but they basically outsourced it to Line, who know what they're doing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the Disney Tsum Tsum game I played for years was done by Line.
I was going to say they've had partnerships in the past.
Yeah.
Yes. So there you go. It's Dr. Mario World, released a day early. It is free, but it's free to or pay to play.
Nintendo
I
free.
think is the I don't know
Freemium.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point you run up against
Nintendo free with an asterisk.
Nin free.
Nintendo free. Like that.
Good job, Flo.
All right, Dr. Mario World. Check it out starting today. So who goes next? Is it you, Ron? I lost.
Yeah, let's just go. Let's just go with the order that we got. Why not?
Okay. All right, I have yours installed. I'll show it off.
So as we've gone through 8 and 9, these many versions of Android, the concept of Do Not Disturb has gone from very simple to just turn off the ringer to very complicated in that you have notification volume, you have media volume, you have alarm volumes, you have all these sort of settings. And to be honest, going back to the Roku argument, sometimes it gets difficult for a simple a user who prefers things to be a little more simple to figure out how to just turn off notifications on their phone, right? I know we all find it's like, oh, you just go here and that, blah, blah, blah. But I've seen other users try to figure it out on Android phones, and it is a problem. That's why I thought it was interesting to find Easy D&D, which takes the whole concept of Do Not Disturb and makes it dead simple. So if you have parents or loved ones or other users of Android in your world that need a little help with the concept of D&D, Easy D&D is the option. Once you install it, you have to give it access to notifications and all that stuff. To go through which is standard now. But here it's just a one-screen app with very large buttons. That you can go up into before we go through it, Jason. We can go up in the hamburger menu. There is one option to change the theme to a dark mode. So there you go, Tony. There's your dark mode.
Yay!
Right. But yeah. So the first button, you just turn full D&D on, and that just turns complete. Everything Do Not Disturb on or off. Or you can get granular where you can only turn alarms off. You can only you can turn priority on and off where you only get messages from your favorite contacts. The priority settings is where you can edit those priority stuff and say make it just phone calls, only from contacts, only from favorite contacts, and allow repeat callers. Just like the simplicity of this interface is great. I really like it. If you go back, you can then go to media sounds and turn either media sounds on or off, and messages on or off, touch sounds on or off, and whether or not you want to allow alarms. It just allows you a granular level of control that doesn't need you to go climbing through the settings or figuring out the sliders or figuring out whether you turned off notifications but you left on media and that sort of thing. That's a great function in the upper right-hand corner that Jason just hit, that kind of alarm clock with an arrow that basically says automatically turn D&D after the next alarm. So it's the kind of thing where you're either expecting something or have an alarm going off, but then you don't want to be disturbed after that. That's a neat little kind of snooze button that kicks in there. So it's a simple app that just gives you better control over your Do Not Disturb settings. So Easy D&D, free in the Google Play Store.
Nice. I like it. I use D&D every time we do the show. So it's a very handy feature, and it's nice to have instant access. You can see I turn it off, and I get some notifications up there. I turn it on, they go away. I don't know until after the show. That's the way I like it. Nice. Easy D&D.
Leave me alone. I'm doing the show.
Leave me alone right now. Don't you know I'm showing?
Mom.
All right, Tony, you are up next.
Alrighty then. I like to think of myself as someone who knows how to take really awesome photos.
Okay.
But I'm not. But I found an application that actually makes your photos a little bit more intriguing and very interesting. So this was a photo that
there you go.
I was with my daughter at the beach. So right away, there's nothing spectacular about it except for us two. But if I hit this little play button here, if you can, I don't know if you're able to zoom in, but the waves are actually moving.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you guys the tutorial one that they use. So there's this guy right here, and what you want to do here is animate. And by the way, this app's called Pixel Loop.
In Lite Pixel Loop.
In Lite Pixel Loop. So you can tell the app what you want the path to be. And these are just some of the examples of how the app thinks that the waterfall should go. If you want to be completely weird and have it go up, you could if you wanted to.
Okay.
But then what's very important is that you have these anchors. Because if you don't have the anchors, it's actually going to start pulling pretty much everything. So you'll notice that it's actually pulling the cliff.
Now I just feel like somebody
it's this
gave me
weird
something.
vertigo kind of feeling.
Yeah.
So you want to place anchors here. So then when you hit play, then it's just the water that's moving. So that's the water. There's also this feature here where you can actually change the sky. So there's different sky elements.
So that's harder to see.
That's harder to see here. There's
I see.
you can kind of see it.
Yeah, it's a little bright.
Little bright, but
Easier to see in person than it is on
take
screen.
my word for it. But then also there's that kind of old-timey looking effect to the actual photo as well too. You can change the length of the video, because essentially this is going to be a video that you can upload to Facebook or Instagram or something like that.
Right.
And then this is all part of the free part of it. If you want, you can go into Pro, and Pro is going to give you a lot more functionality. Like you can put fire in there. You can have other elements that I don't want to set a tree on fire, so I won't do that. But you can have other elements that. Well, there's that fire again.
Too late. You set the tree on fire.
I guess I'm setting the tree on fire.
Good job, Tony.
There's also like these kind of starry kind of things that can appear on the screen. So it just really allows you to kind of mess around with the animation. And you could, what I really like about this is that it kind of allows you to go beyond just a static photo and make things do little tweaks that you wouldn't necessarily notice right out of the gate. But yeah, the more and more you do it, the better it gets. So this is free as an application. And if you want to remove the Pro limit, then that's the one thing. It is either a subscription or you can do a one-time purchase of $60. So it's quite expensive, but again, if you take into account how much, like an actual pro photography application is, then it might be useful to some of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go.
Right on. It's called Enlight Pixel Loop, and it is in the Play Store, as are all the apps usually that we show off. Usually. I like the drawing of the paths. That's a very unique kind of approach, and the anchors. I like that. Flo, I have your app installed. If you would like to talk about it, I'll show it off.
Yes. So I have always been pretty dissatisfied with the Android app drawer just because I have a lot of apps installed on my phone. Phones have gotten bigger in size, and so there's plenty of room to install things and tools that you might need. But it's a pain to try and find things, and I don't like to have an overly crowded home screen. So what I did is I found this app called Launchboard, Modern App Drawer. That's what it says in the Play Store. Now, there's two ways that you can use this. You can pin the icon of the app into your main dock at the bottom so that it follows you on each home screen. Or you can load on the widget, which is what you see here on the screen, effectively a keyboard. And let's say, okay, Jason, you need to find an app. So why don't you think of the first letter and just literally type the first letter? And that's it. You do not type the name of the app, because what's going to happen is the next letter you type will bring you the apps that start with that letter. This is literally all it is. Launchboard just brings up the apps that are in that alphabetical category. You're not scrolling around. if you don't want to. And you can actually add favorites as you like. So, Jason, choose Hangouts is, I'm sure, one of your favorite apps, right?
Oh, it's
so
amazing.
Why don't you long press on that one and then add it to your favorites.
Okay.
And
Gladly.
now go ahead and exit out of that, and then we'll show folks what happens. Yeah, it just... Yep.
There it is.
It just hangs out there in the favorites. And that's it. And you can just add your favorites as you want. It's a great way to hide apps. If you want to hide apps, for aesthetic purposes, you all know I'm really into like the aesthetics of my home screen. So this definitely aids in that, which I love. And I also just love the relative simplicity of this. It's either widget or the app. And literally all it does is it just brings up the app that you're looking for. I haven't fully dived into the settings menu because I've been pretty happy just with like the simplicity of how it works. But so far, so good. And the developer is updating this periodically, taking care of bug fixes. There's also a theme engine, which I've yet to dive into, so I can kind of get it to match the aesthetics. But overall, I mean, it's got, I believe it was $1.99 because I paid for it. So I don't remember when I dropped the link into our spreadsheet, but it's $1.99. You're supporting a dev. It's super simple. So just Launchboard. Modern app drawer for modern people.
Yeah, I didn't pay for an upgrade, so everything you saw there was from the free version. But I'm looking in the settings to see if maybe there's a way to do that.
And the settings you can get to from when you pop up the keyboard to look for an app.
Right.
You can also change the keyboard layout if you prefer. You can choose which items to show so that you don't have to look at apps that you wish didn't exist. You can also have contacts shown if that's something that you want to add to, as well as call actions. I imagine the developer may add more things over time.
Yeah. Nice. That is Launchboard Modern App Drawer, or Draw, as Ron might say.
Draw.
There we go.
That's the right way to say it, of course.
Draw.
All right.
I wish I had an accent. I just have California and nothing.
Draw.
All right, twit.to/AAA poll 428 is where you'll go to place your legitimate vote. Twit.to/AAA poll 428. And you can vote for either Dr. Mario World, Easy DND, not Dungeons and Dragons, of course, do not disturb, and Lite Pixel Loop, and Launchboard. And Victor is swirling. And Victor's a Dr. Mario fan.
Victor's got the Nintendo love that he's got to... I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's a him, Dr. Mario.
It's a him, Dr. Victor.
Victor.
Easy DND and Enlight Pixel Loop taking the early lead at this point. But anything can happen, we saw this week, last week's poll. Anything can happen. Twit.to/AAA poll 428. That's where you go. And then you can, just right now, while you're doing that, you can also say goodbye to us because we're done. We went long today. And I hope you enjoyed our long show. But that is it. Tony, it's always great getting you in, man. Thank you for hopping in the studio with us and hanging out.
Thank you for the invite. Chat was awesome. Flo, and maybe I'll see you in Benicia sometime eventually. I just found out that Ron has twins, so I'm behind. Congratulations.
Little behind. Ain't gonna lie.
Lots have happened. Lots
has happened. But yeah, thank you so much for inviting me back.
Yeah, you bet. I was thinking while we were doing this show, I was like, I met you when you were working at Verizon. When the Galaxy Nexus came out. You reached out to me through the show.
I think it was on Twitter.
It was on Twitter.
Yeah,
it was something like that. And you said, "Hey, I can make sure that you get a Galaxy."
Yeah, and
Nexus.
you came through.
And I came into the store and met Tony, and he made sure that I was able to secure a Galaxy Nexus when we weren't certain that it was a certainty to get them at that point because they were in demand. No one knew what a crappy phone it was going to turn out to be. But
Only took a week. Oh no! Now I'm responsible.
yes. Thanks for selling me a crappy phone.
You're
Tony.
welcome.
Do you remember that waffled plastic back that you could peel off to get the battery out?
Yep.
Oh, man.
You
Yeah.
snap it off. It almost felt like it broke every single
We've
time.
come
you did
so far.
it. We have come so far. Anyway,
That was the year I bought an iPhone.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my
dark
secret
time.
shame. I had an iPhone for 3 months.
And that was it. Well, that's about the total amount of time I've ever had an iPhone too. So we're on the same page. All right. Well, Tony, thank you again. Where do you want people to find everything you're doing?
The easiest way is just go to YouTube, youtube.com/LazyTechTV. That's not me. I have to change that video.
That is not you.
That is not me. But there's a lot of gameplay video up there. I just did a desk tour of my new studio. Some new videos are going up next week. And then also our Instagram page we're uploading. And live gameplay is at mixer.com/LazyTechTony.
Right on.
Yep.
Tony, thank you again.
Thank you.
We'll have you back soon. Appreciate it. Flo, what's the word?
Grease is the word. Have you heard? So actually, I'm kind of hunkering down. I'm doing a lot of testing this summer. I'm doing a lot of benchmarking of things and testing of things. So in the interim, if you want to keep up with me, you can always follow me at florenceion.com, which is the Flow feed, where I post updates on articles I've written, and my podcasts, when they post, I will cross-post them there. Also, if you are a Twitch user, please join me at twitch.tv/OhThatFlow. I am streaming 3 days a week, Monday, Thursdays, Sunday mornings. So come join me. During the week, I'm playing Skyrim, and on the weekends, I'm working on projects. And so this weekend, I'm going to be putting together my Pokemon, the card game deck, because I finally have collected all the cards that I wanted, and I have enough energy cards. So come join me for that. We hang out on Sundays with my coffee in my jammies. It's actually really fun. And for those of you who are part of the Discord, thank you for being part of what is becoming a very bustling community.
Nice. Cool. That's so cool. Thank you, Flo. Always fun doing a show with you, and always doing a show with Ron is always a blast as well. What's
always
up with
a blast. Well, I'm doing my best not to melt in the 88 degrees of New York City. It's gonna be a rough summer, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, just follow me on Twitter at RonXO and on Instagram at RonXO. And come join me on my adventure as I try to juggle twins and a career and Android and baseball and yeah. So yeah, nothing else to report other than reading the new Neil Stephenson novel, which is great. So there it is.
So do that.
Do that.
Thank you, Ron. You can find me here on the network. I'm going to be busy this month. Of course, Megan Maroney is no longer with Twit, and I miss her.
I saw that. It's crazy.
Micah Sargent starts full time at the very, very end of this month. Until then, Leo and I are holding down the fort. So we've got a lot of stuff to do. So I'm going to be busy all over the Twit network over the next few weeks until Micah begins. But I'm super looking forward to the Sargent era. Victor, thank you so much for doing the show. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
That's great to have you back.
I have a question for Ron, actually.
Yes.
I've been fixated on that phone icon on your window over there. Is there an actual rotary phone in your room?
No, there's not. It's just a clip art sign to indicate that this is a phone room.
Because everybody recognizes that to be a phone.
Here's an actual phone that's in the room.
Wow.
Disappointment.
Relic.
Too bad.
Listen, Victor, for the interest in that, I'm going to do one thing specially just for you and moving forward on the show. Thanks to our good friends at Microsoft and Skype, I'm going to blur my background from now on.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. That looks seamless.
There you go. So now you can still see the phone icon, but now it's just blurry.
I mean, I do understand this feature though. If how many times have you seen someone sitting in an office in front of a whiteboard filled with notes and stuff?
Yeah. Or an ugly bed.
Well, that too.
Oh,
yes,
well,
I've seen my share of a lot of those on the whiteboards, beds, everything in the background. You never know what you're going to catch. So there you go. So good job, Skype, I suppose. And Ron, sure. I fully support your blurry background future. There you go.
Amazing.
That is it for this week.
The phone is blurry. Look.
Oh, you can't even leak your phone. Oh. That is really funny. Wow,
that's
Skype,
funny.
you've got some work to do.
The NDA filter.
I also want to give a big thanks to Jeff and Burke, who also helped out on this show and brought in the pie and everything. Thank you, guys. That is it for this week. Leave us a voicemail, 347-SHOW-AAA. Send us emails at AAA@twit.tv. Find us on Twitter at Android Show. Find our Arena apps list at twit.to/Android apps. Pretty easy to get there. See all the apps that we've ever brought into the Arena. Show notes and past episodes can be found at twit.tv/AAA. Everything you need to know about this show is listed there, as well as our starting time, which is usually 5 p.m. Pacific. We also usually all end at 7, and that didn't happen today. But anyways, if you want to watch us live, you can. twit.tv/live. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android. Bye, everybody. See ya.